and we're based off of Nordic mythology. And as you've seen before, we've launched a meme coin called Mead, and it's been very successful as a community-led coin. And what we're planning on launching here in the upcoming day here is Volt, which has DAO mechanics, but we've definitely upgraded a lot of parts of it, which we could talk about as we go on.
Okay. So one of the things that is quite different between how you guys do things and some of the other DAOs is the tier system. How does it work exactly in terms of like what the person does and how that affects the tiers they're in?
Yeah, so when it comes to the reputation system is based on your actions, mostly staking and selling, right? And our philosophy behind it was, we've been a part of DAOs as well, and they're a big part of what's going on. But we noticed a lot of pumping and dumping. And, our vision is more long-term, and the DAO fits into that. And to kind of prevent that and to encourage more of a, gaming aspect to it, we included that reputation system. So, you stake, you move up in the ladder, so to speak, and you sell a lot, then you'll be penalized for it. Now, we don't want to discourage selling. We think selling is healthy, but we want to discourage people that sell a lot or whales that dump high amounts because it hurts the overall protocol, and it hurts the investors as well that take part in it. So we're here. So we designed the system to safeguard for the investors and to increase the longevity of for the success of Asgard.
Okay. And for a user, would they be able to see what tier they're in on the dashboard, or would that be something that's internal data?
So the way the reputation system works is it's based on citizen rep, and that is defined by your favor minus your wrath. So we released a great infographic today, and if you haven't seen it already, it's on our Twitter, but it summarizes how the citizen wallet reputation works.
Okay.
So you gain favor from staking, right? You get wrath from selling, and the difference between the two is your citizen reputation score.
Okay. And would you be able to? So would you know what your reputation score is, or is that something that you wouldn't be able to know, but you just know because if you have been selling or not?
I'll let Thor answer that.
By the way, I have the graphic up right now for anybody that's watching the video. It'll be up for them to see that.
Awesome, thank you. And Thor, you there? If not, I can answer it. He may be having connection problems, but yeah, you'll be able to see your summarized reputation score. That's part of what we built in, and the reputation was a big part of what we wanted to do from the beginning. So anyone that's been around for a while, you'll notice we've had the favor and we've had the wrath and the docs, and it took quite a bit of work to be able to work the mechanics into it. So that's why we're trying to set the message straight that we're not just a DAO.
Yeah.
We are sure some of the foundation of it comes from a DAO, but we have built incredibly upon that. And one of the things that you'll see is the wallet reputation that's been built into it.
Yeah, no, I definitely noticed that when I was going through the medium. It's a lot more in-depth and detailed compared to others I've seen, so that's always good news.
Right.
In terms of so obviously being in a different tier affects taxes you pay on like sales.
Yes.
is your plans in terms of the taxes collected? What do you guys plan to do with that? Is it burnt tokens, or do you plan to hold in the treasury, or perhaps do giveaways for your community who do hold?
Yeah, great question. A little bit of both. Some of it goes to the treasury, and really we could devise something to give back to the community as well. I think that's a great idea to have.
Yeah.
I do know, yeah, if Thor could jump in, I know he could definitely speak on more of the tokenomics on how the taxes work. But at a high level, yeah, I know a part of it goes to the treasury, and part of it we can reward back to the community.
Yeah, I think having some sort of like incentive for being in the top tier with like weekly rewards would be quite smart. I think Paul just messaged me. He's saying he's trying to speak, but
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. He messaged me the same as well.
maybe try to undeafen or just leave and try rejoining Tor. But yeah, so moving
So
on.
he can hear us.
Yeah. I know the whitelist process because we have like 5 different whitelists that we're giving out today.
Okay.
Could you just explain how the process works for the community? Because I know it's quite different to other projects that I've come across so far.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So in a normal whitelist situation, you're given tokens beforehand. And as we said before, our goal is long term. We're not interested in pumping and dumping, for lack of better terms. So we devised our whitelist to have a special incentive built into it, and that special incentive is the favor that would be awarded. And as you know, as we just discussed, favor is a part of the wallet reputation. So if you received the whitelist, then you received essentially a head start in reputation, and that will have its advantages as Volt goes on. You start off kind of ahead of the pack, for lack of better terms. And Thor, is there anything you'd like to add to that? Guess he's having the same problem. All good, but does that answer your question?
No, yeah, you did. Do you have any like partnerships, or are you looking to link up with other DAOs in the future?
I believe at this moment we don't have any partnerships with other DAOs, but we're always open to exploring partnerships. At the end of the day, we think that AVAX is a growing ecosystem, and in order to grow successfully, everyone needs to work together in some fashion. And we're open to if it helps the Asgard community, if it's part of what our community wants, and at the end of the day, it's going to help AVAX move forward. We don't see any problem in exploring such opportunities.
And in terms of the APY, and that's something that a lot of people are usually interested in. Would you make sure that it's high enough to entice new people, but not too high so that we see what's happening with GG and all the live DAOs?
Yeah. I mean, anyone that's been in the DAO game for the last maybe, I would say 3 months has seen kind of this roller coaster ride of what very, 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 very high APYs that literally go off the screen can do, right? It's not healthy. As we've seen, it causes pump and dumps. So we're very aware of that. And as I mentioned before, our goal here is long term. So our APYs will be in a nice range that's consistent, and that will focus on rewarding the investors, but not at the cost of the protocol, which is what you see quite often.
So for the people listening, if they want to get involved in Asgard, what would you say is the best way to get involved, just like from now on?
So if it's your first time in Asgard, first off, welcome. You're gonna have a great time. Join our Discord is the number one thing I would say to do, because it's like a party in there. Our meme coin is mead, which is essentially an alcoholic beverages for the Nords. So it's a good time. Secondly, follow the Twitter. Moving forward, getting closer to the launch of Volt, we'll have more infographics out.
Thank you.
And we'll have, we have a ton of members in the community that can help you understand what Asgard is. So just to sum that up, just the Discord and the Twitter, and please read the docs if you haven't. The docs are very informative. We took quite a bit of time to create those, and they explain everything that is going on currently in Asgard.
Yeah, no,
Hey,
Thor, we can hear you now.
oh, now you can hear me?
We can hear you, yeah.
Right when I'm talking about paying my bill at dinner. Sorry, I was here the whole time trying to fill in answers. I think Billy did a pretty good job and filled in a lot of what I was going to say and more. Yeah, come on over to the Discord.
Yeah. Did you want to add to the tokenomics behind the tax that gets collected?
Yeah, so that's actually a really good question. So right now, there's a sell on taxes, and that's a sliding scale based on the reputation score. So the base reputation score, tier 0, it's called, or we call it, starts at a 10.5% tax. As you stake and gain more favor, you're going to move up in tax or up in tiers, which will lower the taxes, right? So how this works on the back end is there's a sell, and that sell gets taxed right off the top. So you will need slippage if you decide to sell. So if you decide to sell right away, you'll need a 11-12% slippage depending on how much volume is going through the protocol, and through the liquidity. That tax gets split two ways. 25% of it goes into the dev wallet, or the deployer wallet, and then 75% goes right to the treasury. Now, those values are actually adjustable, and we can decide to adjust that all into the treasury later. The reason we decided to do it this way was because we have two additional mechanics in our collection of contracts. One of them, which is important to this tax collection, is that we can sell it for a stable coin right away. So how this works is somebody sells, the 10% gets split off, and then we can either choose to sell only 25% of it or 75% of it into the DAO, or the entire thing, which won't actually make more downward selling pressure than what would normally happen, because it's taken off of the sell itself anyways, right? So we basically be collecting into stable coins. Now, this contract, it won't be live from the start because we want to be able to take those taxes into Volt initially so that we can increase liquidity in the protocol. So does that all make sense? Am I explaining? Yeah. So, go ahead. Sorry.
Go on, Billy.
No, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying, just wanted to clarify that for everyone listening, in case they were interested.
Yeah.
Now,
and then we do have one additional mechanic too. I know it's been brought up in some other circles lately that the DAO, or these DAO treasuries, don't actually back the value of the coin. We have made a manual buyback function that uses only stables to buy back and burn right away. This is something that would be used at our discretion. We actually ended up making a automatic one and saw a couple potentially dangerous issues that could come about with a automatic buyback function that's triggered by the protocol price dropping below the buyback level. And that has to do with a number of factors with how the reserve currencies are counted inside of the treasury currently. If you were to have a a non-stable pair come into the treasury and then it was sold back through a buyback mechanism, there's a potential that a couple kind of catastrophic things can happen if you don't take a couple if you're not sure you're doing it the right way, right? So we decided to forego that for now until we could test that more on our beta testnet and just go with a manual buyback function. So basically, what it does is takes out of the treasury, or the DAO, depending on which one we do, and would buy back and burn Volt if necessary to increase runaway deflation or runaway inflation potentially.
Yeah, no, that sounds interesting. I'm sure once all of that is live, it will help a lot with the token. Now, in terms of Asgard, what is your vision? Like, what do you want Asgard to do? Except, I know because you guys would like to say that, you know, it's not a traditional DAO. So, what would you summarize Asgard as?
Could you take this one, Billy?
Sure. I mean, you know, Asgard is the next step in DeFi and gaming. That is kind of our mantra, and you know, that's what we stand by, and that's what our goal is to accomplish.
Now, in terms of the project itself, so I've seen that you have done a KYC. Is that held with a community member, right?
Yes. So that KYC is held with the community member, as well as he is doxxed. So Mimir is doxxed. He put out a video, and in fact, if you join our Discord, you'll notice that there are members of the community that have adopted Mimir's face as their profile picture. As you know, and that's how you can prove that he's been doxxed.
I just put the video link in the general channel in case anyone's interested. You can have a look at that.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of the KYC, would you be interested in holding it with a third party as well, someone who's not linked or a member of your community?
At this time, we've elected to hold it with a member of the community, but you know, we're up for discussion on that. We've just, you know, we've been pretty focused on the Bolt launch itself, and you know, as Thor mentioned, as you've heard Thor speak, there's a lot of mechanics and a lot of work that went into it. So once we launch Bolt, we'll have more time and energy to kind of devote to some of these other things. And you know, figure out the best path that's best for the protocol.
Now, what about the multi-sig? Who's involved in that?
Thor, would you like to answer that?
Yeah, the multi-sig is myself, Mimir, and Odin. Yeah, and that's it.
Okay. All right. And would you be looking to perhaps add a few other members of the team, or perhaps a third-party influencer, the way like some of the other projects have been doing now?
Yeah, we've briefly discussed that. We're not against or opposed to that kind of idea. It's just that with everything that we've had going on with the meat launch, and the success, and you know, being busy developing Volt, it's just been not on a top priority. We're not against the idea necessarily, although ideally what we would like to have is protocol owned liquidity throughout the board. So at that point, renouncing ownership of wallets, or you know, sending to a burn wallet or something like that would almost be a more decentralized way of holding liquidity. But we want to take it one step at a time with that. So for now, mainly the multi-sig is to you know, just give an extra added layer of security to things. As we grow more, we're definitely open to explore more options with things, including even time locking everything.
Yeah, no, that's fine. It's just you know, with a lot of projects, the community usually that's one thing that they always keep asking for, is whether you have a third party multi-sig. But I mean, so in terms of your team, do you, do you have any external hires, or is it all in-house, all between yourselves?
Yeah, it's all between us. The only people that actually touch the code are Odin and myself, and there are no other external hires. So really, in that case, like bringing somebody else on, I understand it can be beneficial to quelling the fears of somebody in the community. For us, it actually opens up the possibility that we aren't in control of our protocol and some outsider influencer is.
No,
But once it goes
You
into
know,
full
and I'm not saying that we're
governance,
against doing that
isn't
in the
that the
future.
whole point?
These are just all these options that we have to weigh as heads of a project.
yeah, no, 100%. Obviously, you have to also protect yourselves and your project as well.
Mm-hmm.
There have been cases where there have been like greedy multi-sig parties who refuse to let go. Then,
Yeah.
now,
Yeah. Where do you go to fix that?
like, you can't.
Right.
Your own project. I mean, Volta
Yeah.
DAO is a perfect example of that. The developer refused to give up access, and they were just held hostage.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are serious decisions that we have to weigh and look into further, and weigh the pros and cons of all of them. So as of right now, it's Mimir and Odin and I that hold keys to the multi-sig, and we've had zero problems with it so far. But we're our main focus right now was getting the code all working. Now that it is, and we've thoroughly beta tested it, now it's time to launch it and get everything moving and get the pieces oiled that need to be oiled and get the machine pumping and going the way it should be, and then we can take care of some other things.
Now, in terms of Thor's Mead, do you want to just basically give a brief overview on how that works to the community? I know it's the meme currency, but
Yeah.
just like what you have planned and how it works alongside Asgard.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, so Thor's Meat is the reflection token. I'm sure you guys are familiar with that concept. Buys and sells get taxed, and it gets put into a pool of whole. Basically, you own a percentage of the entire protocol when you're holding a reflection token. The taxes get put back into that pool and distributed equally amongst everybody. So moving forward with what we have with Mead. So one of the use cases is when you go and you have your Volt, you obtain your Volt one way or the other. So let's say you buy it on Trader Joe when the liquidity is live. Then you can go in and stake it. Right? To stake your Volt, you must pay 1,000 Mead into Thor's Tavern. So just go in there, approve it, you make your deposit. The same thing with bonding. So the reason we did this is for a couple of reasons. One, it's to kind of slow people down a little bit and get them to think about their actions, what they're doing exactly. And then the other thing is to prevent botting through bonds and having the cheap bonds bought up right away. Because nobody knows what the protocol or what the address is of the tavern and how to go about those functions. They can't be botted right now. Additionally, we have this thing that we call Muspelheim, or Musfell on the site. What it does is it's a way to cleanse wallet reputation. So let's say you sell a bunch of your tokens and your wallet reputation drops below 0, and you're getting taxed at, let's say, 20%, and that's too much for you, and you don't want to hold. You could go into Musfell, and there is a fixed ratio of right now 1 favor to 4 wrath to 25,000 mead, and you can put that in and you can burn it. And so what that does is it'll get rid of that ratio. And you can multiply that ratio if you'd like up to however many you want. And cleanse your wallet reputation. So it's kind of like a little redemption arc for things,
Yeah, no, I
and
mean,
also a use case for mead.
yes, that sounds really interesting. But in terms of the redemption, could you potentially see people, especially like whales, exploiting that, whereas they just sell and then just reset their rep?
Yeah, and that's a possibility. That is a strong possibility that happens. That is data that we don't have yet. The way we made the Musfell mechanic is those ratios can be adjusted, or the mechanic can just be shut off as well. We can also in the future add different coins to it. So instead of doing mead, we could add AVAX or anything, at any ratio that we decide.
Yeah, I think it would be great if there's a limit. So perhaps in a month period, you can only use that function maybe twice or three times, or once you've done it for the first two times using mead, the second or third time you have to do it with AVAX, and it costs a bit more. So
Right.
yeah,
So because then we're getting into the stage where it could almost be considered pay to play or pay to earn, and that is something that we have considered and want to definitely stay away from. The people with the most money in the protocol just get to pay their way through it. So that is something that Odin and I have considered while making this, and we have because of the way we can deploy Musfell, there can be A, many of them, and B, we can change the contract and deploy a new volcano or a new Musfell mechanic contract. So just like bonds, right? So so the mead portion or the coin portion gets put into the treasury. So it's almost like a different form of a bond that can be done to clean your wallet or your wallet reputation. So that's something new. We have no idea how that will all play out in real time, but it is something that we're aware of that needs to be monitored and studied.
And just to add to that, there may be an infographic about that. I don't know, but maybe.
Yeah,
perfect.
maybe.
Now, with the contracts and everything written up, do you guys have any plans to perhaps do any audits before or post launch?
That is also an interesting topic. So we're not going to do audits right away. That's for sure. Um, uh, so we've actually fixed a lot that. How do I put this? There are some mechanics in these tokens that are often misunderstood. I think what we've spent a lot of time doing is going through and cleaning some of this up. For right now, because of the complexity of the wallet reputation system and how it works with all these other tokens, we're not looking at doing an audit right now. Now, we have talked about doing an audit in the near future, but what we want to do is establish that establish our market dominance with this kind of token before it goes off to the clone factories and the market is flooded with them,
Yeah.
as we've seen happen with Ohm lately. So there's a reason why all of these forks that have been coming out are Ohm forks and not time forks.
Mhm.
And I guess I can leave it at that. We originally cloned from the time contracts, the ones with the new low gas safe math, and then have heavily modified them since then. So we look at it kind of like how, Safe Moon is an ERC20 token,
Yep.
but that doesn't mean that an ERC20 token is Safe Moon. So that's kind of how we're looking at time as well. Like, yeah, time has a DAO mechanic in it, and it has a rebase function and a treasury and a receipt token, and so does ours, right? but we've also built all these other functionality onto it as well, that we spent a lot of time perfecting and cleaning up and going by the standards and all of that. So, as to answer your question, this is another one of those things, kind of like the having somebody else on the multi-sig that we're considering. We just haven't put a lot of time into the thought behind it, because first and foremost, we're creating a secure product that we can launch.
No, I mean, all of that sounds interesting. It's good to hear that you guys have actually thought about the future as well, not just like, let's get to the launch and then we'll think about the rest afterwards.
Yeah.
Right.
Slim, do you want to go ahead with your questions?
Sure. So it's good that you guys went over most of the like key things that everybody wants to talk about nowadays with DAOs. I think the multi-sig key is probably going to be a big question for you guys. But me myself, seeing your community and how you guys are trying to build the community, it kind of gives me more reason behind. I guess I can see why you guys are kind of comfortable with the three, because I mean that is key. I mean, if you guys can build a strong community that understands like your foundations and how you guys work and how dedicated you are, then you kind of maybe don't have to worry about that. So
Mm-hmm.
I do see where you're coming from there. You guys have a great meme channel. You're building a really good. I'm an OHM guy, so I know kind of what it takes to get some of the ground stuff going. So you have a good foundation going. Sunday is the launch, correct?
Yep.
Yes.
Tomorrow morning. Yep.
Okay, 12 p.m. Eastern time, and then 5 p.m. UTC, correct?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. Yep. That sounds
Yes.
about right. And that might not be directly at that time. We might hold it back a half hour, 20 minutes, something like that. But right around there, yeah.
So I know you guys don't have like any collabs or anything like that right now, but like what type do you foresee looking for? Like what do you plan on going after as far as like alliances or collaborations?
Yeah, well, we have a lot of people that we talk to in the background. A lot of different dev teams, a lot of different bigger dev teams. I don't want to name any names because I'm not that kind of guy. But we are looking at some NFT projects that we want to do some collaborations with. The way we have things set up with the reputation system actually allows a pretty cool possibility of how we could organize different drops, for example. Maybe in the future, and don't quote me on this, but even like some sort of launch pad type thing, how we could organize our own NFT line. And we do love collaborations. So, we're definitely open to talking with some of the bigger names in AVAX, and helping to ensure that the ecosystem is going in the direction that we want to, and not just in the direction where you have these fly by night projects popping up and taking all our money.
Definitely, and that kind of goes to what I was going to ask. So it seems like you guys have like a base in crypto, man. It seems like you guys are like really into this. Can you kind of go into like your past, how long you've been in crypto? Because it's really important to a lot of us in the community, as you know. A lot of the cash grabs and stuff has just been a bunch of dudes who are they didn't even have ledgers, and they're just coming into crypto like trying to start a DAO and either losing
Should I
money
do a
or
ledger
taking money.
doc? Do you want to see my ledger? Is that what we're? Is it bigger than yours? Bro, it's more about the culture for us than anything. Like we want to build something that's around in 10 years. Like I want to be fucking. If we're being honest, like I'd rather be at a conference on stage talking about crypto and the future of crypto than some other motherfucker, because so far, G, the good projects that I found are few and far between. And it's just like, what is that for mass adoption? That's the end of it. Like, we're all building things that at the end of the day, that's what we're driving towards. And if we start thinking like that, instead of like, where's the next moon? Like, maybe we have a shot in hell of, changing things around in world finance and stuff, and being an established SP13, sorry. Like,
Yeah.
recognize,
No, I hear
So
you.
back to your question
become
about.
ESG compliant and shit.
So back to your question about our backgrounds. I think a lot of basically everybody on the team has kind of been in the background of crypto for a while. After we met up and started talking about what we've done and our different projects we've invested in, and discords and telegrams that we've been around in, and how long we've been doing things, we found that we have quite a bit of experience between all of us. Personally, I've been around crypto since like 2009. I had Bitcoin super early, sold a bunch of it really early. I've been, I was in the Mt. Gox hack, um, lost Bitcoin to that. I've been floating around in the back of Telegram channels and Discords for, like the last couple months, more in DeFi and getting more involved in the community side of things. Personally, I'm more of a tech guy, so like I don't like really being in the community, but I understand the importance of it. So, I mean, I have a pretty long history with crypto myself.
Okay. And then, do you guys have any worries about like potential trademark conflicts with like the Asgard branding? Like, since it's like,
No, as long as we don't use any likeness that can be like, if we don't directly use the Bifrost that's depicted, anything that's depicted in Marvel, we kind of have to step away from as soon as possible, especially for Midgard and stuff like that. But at the moment, it's been a very good thing to like produce the genesis of our idea. You know, at the end of the last movie, like Asgard blew up and shit, and they were trying to find a new home. And we were like, when we were trying to pick a project branding, that kind of felt good to us. Like, yeah, that's kind of, we're making a new home for crypto, like something new, something better than what was before. Like we're gonna fix every underlying problem, and we're gonna try and make something that's really, really damn good.
no
And
doubt. You're no doubt. It's definitely a dope concept for sure.
And I'd also like to add, as long as Thor doesn't decide to change his name to Iron Man in the next couple months, we're probably good.
Well, I mean, I just want to. I mean, of course, you guys know that there's like other Asgards before that didn't do so well.
heathens, we don't mention them. Heathens. We are the only one.
Exactly.
Yeah, like that's exactly right. Like you can name your project or your contract anything you want. But we've kind of just went, well, yeah, of course people are going to imitate us. Our launch was delayed a little bit because of some health reasons in the team, and that's just the way it went. So we haven't really paid them much mind. What we're making, like as we've explained throughout this, what we've made isn't just another one. So I think we're firm believers in our actions speaking louder than our words in that case.
No doubt.
Also, supporting that, without going into too much detail, we are talking with some pretty big names like YouTubers with 100,000 plus subscribers. And while they're not, the ones to take on projects for money, they are kind of telling us, hey, they're like, we'll see how it goes, but this could be revolutionary. And I won't tell you who, but that's a direct quote.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to hear, man.
We're sitting in on that meeting, so. And at the end of the day, it's all trustless systems. But once again, I did explain it in written form, and I hope you can catch the intent of what we're doing based on my answer in the AMA questions. Sorry, I routed to the call late, and my internet took a moment to like boot up to the point where it could handle it.
No, you've been killing the questions, by the way. Honestly, you've been killing it, man. For sure. I normally go over them.
I answered something along these lines. I can't really find it. Oh yeah, there it is. No one I don't have ID for can access the code. We took a leaf out of the French Resistance, where that was, they were kind of forced to build a trustless system in a hostile environment. So that's a really, really strong system. As long as the guys at the top really bloody believe in what they're building, and as the guys who have invested the last 45 days where like sleep blocks of 4 hours, you know what I mean? And like only when you need them.
Odin and I spent New Year's together.
Bro, we didn't have Christmas or New Year's on Discord. Like we've got all this extra time. we're gonna take it and we're gonna build something that's like we're gonna add to what we have, and we're gonna just keep adding and adding and adding. And this is the launch date internally, and this is how we're gonna do it, and it's just gonna be a killer.
Yeah, I'm
And
not gonna lie, man. You sound a lot like me and my partner, some men, man. Like we don't get a lot of sleep sometimes, and we're up like
you
together,
have to
just
be in
like
crypto.
grinding it out, man. So like, yeah, and I kind of touched on it before. Like I get it. I know some people it might take for them to get into the Discord, and like if they have any kind of history with how these not the forks but the main ones, time and OHM, how they
And
started.
preconceptions and past PTSD, and yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
education would be a massive.
So if you notice, so if you notice, we made this meme coin. Well, we thought about this issue quite a while ago. That a big part of what's going on in crypto is a lack of education about how these complex systems work. So we're
yes,
like, well, what we should really do is get a group together first that we can like both hash these things out with and create friendships with so that we can explain these concepts to them and create a good environment for learning and hanging out and making money together, and making cool systems so that when it comes to launch time for something more complex, we can already prep the community in what we're seeing and make a community that jives with that. So if you guys have questions or anybody that's out there listening to this has questions, just come into the community and ask. Everybody's super cool. Everybody's pretty chill. Like we don't really put up with bad attitudes is the main thing. Like you can come in and question us. We can have a conversation about it.
We will literally answer you.
Yeah.
But we do work 20 hours a day. And the main priority for us is, well, the main priority for Thor and Odin and Vili are other matters that aren't town hall, town center. Like when they come in and answer and do stuff, that's them, just, okay, caring about it. And when I answer you, it's because I care about it too, but that's kind of where I can spend most of my time. But we do work 20 hours a day, and it has been a pretty hectic 2 months building this whole thing. So we're kind of just as keen for launch as you guys are.
Sure.
We've made it out to like the millisecond. We are going to be on voice chat with the whole team during the whole launch. There are systems in play for making this go as smooth as possible and perfect, like last time. And basically, yeah, man. Like, I need to get to Sunday, bro. I would like a day off.
yeah.
20 hours a day for what 45 days has been a bit intense.
So just to kind of like for me to be able to like wrap it up for the listeners, like I know like one of the big things with the community is like doxing and multi sigs, and like basically what this camp is saying is like come see what our community is about, see how we function as the foundation, as the core project leaders, and then you kind of just have to either get in the boat or not. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that's and
At
that
the end of
and
the day, this is the safest way we see of being able to execute our vision perfectly
because it's
and
your
make
baby, it's your baby, and so
exactly. It's our baby. As long as you start thinking about it like that, and everyone like you guys can come see our baby, but our baby's the main attraction. So like we made it. Like fucking,
yeah,
we're mummy, we're triple dads. Like it's a bit crazy, but we make it work.
I
You
get it,
know.
I get it,
My
man,
crypto here.
I get it, man, I
Yeah,
get
so
it.
when I launched Thor's Mead way back, and that was just out of a meme, like the community kept asking for mead just as like a Viking thing. So we're like, well, let's launch a mead coin. I made a point to tell them that I'm not going to lock liquidity and I'm not going to renounce ownership because that line of thinking, like I get it, I completely get where people are coming
It
from,
works for
but
Bitcoin, but it doesn't
well,
work for something you want to build.
right. So like I understand why people ask that. Believe me, I've been in enough coins, I've been in enough rugs that kind of things happen to me too. But because I understood what we were building long term, I was trying to at least get some people to go, okay, yeah, like let's trust these guys. Then we put everything behind the multi-sig, you know? Um, so that's kind of where we're coming from. Like, come hang out, come have a good time. Like,
It's a, it's a
I like
semi
my
it's a semi time type situation. If people can trying to grasp that, it's almost like that where it's like they're not full governance, but You know, it's
Someone's steering the ship and making sure it's not wandering aimlessly.
right. Making sure the computer doesn't have a
There's a bloody
malfunction.
motor, let me tell you that much. Like, you know, we've been pumping, man. Like, honestly, truly, with it being conservative, like, you know, I used to work in cafes 10 hours a day, and I can tell you, I get more fun from doing this, and I'm more hyped, and that gives me more energy, but it's exhausting.
Yeah.
And then
It's-
can
I'm
you
still ready to go.
Can you guys just before we end this? I see that you guys have like plans for NFTs and stuff, man. And I'm like a big
Absolutely.
NFT person. I'm huge on NFTs. Like I'm a hoarder. So like, if you could just kind of give me give me just a little hope.
We'll let you know when we're gonna launch it. I'll DM you for sure.
Okay,
I'll
man.
say personally, not speaking on behalf of Asgard though, and take this how you want, because it's not on behalf of Asgard, it's a personal opinion. I really bloody like chicken. They have nice cocks.
Yeah,
They have really, really nice cocks.
Well, that
Alright,
does
guys.
remind me. Someone did ask if you guys like mac and cheese. Otherwise,
I do.
Absolutely.
I saw that. I do.
My man.
It's
Soul
lasagna,
food.
which is basically mac and cheese with some meat in the middle. But I'll be a good boy tomorrow and eat some mac and cheese. How about that?
Nice.
That's
I
fine.
actually post a photo in Asgard tomorrow of me eating mac and cheese.
Oh, I'm there for that.
So, like, you know, why not?
I'm there for that.
Hey guys, I really appreciate your time. Thanks for having us here. This has been a great AMA, and I'm gonna get running. I've actually been outside of the restaurant waiting to go. But I really appreciate your time, and I look forward to seeing you guys at Discard for launch tomorrow.
All right.
No, it's a pleasure. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Bye bye.